Good Thursday, everyone. Welcome to GardenStateWeather.com and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic region 24 hours a day. I'm forecaster Robert Smith on this third day of December 2015, and we've got the bird perched on the tree here, or perched on the tree, and it's executing a little bit of, some frost or some freeze. And we've got some chilly temperatures this morning, but it's going to warm up a little bit this afternoon, but it's going to be a gusty northwesterly wind day. Here's the video for Here's a look at some of the precipitation totals over the last 24 hours across the region. Far heavier precipitation, less than an inch, actually less than a half of an inch in most cases, fell across northwestern New Jersey into the Poconos and into portions of New York State. Meanwhile, lesser amounts here seen along the metropolitan areas of New Jersey, New York City, and then out towards eastern Long Island as well. Broken to overcast skies this morning across the region as the cold front is now off the coast and most of the precipitation is now well removed from our area. It's off the coast of Cape Cod this morning. And we have some downwind showers here across Pennsylvania, portions of eastern Pennsylvania south of Allentown this morning, and a little blob of light snow coming in with a northwesterly flow and an upper level disturbance, an upper level trough that's yet to swing through this afternoon. So we're going to be in and out of the clouds for today, with clearing skies predominantly being the most likely outlook for today, and gusty northwesterly winds, as we can see here from the observations this morning, where skies are clearing off just before sunrise. Temperatures have dropped down into the mid and upper 30s across portions of the Poconos. The temperatures are generally running in the low to the mid 40s across most of the rest of the forecast region. Watch its warnings and advisories for the New Jersey coastal waters. We have a gale warning in effect from 8 this morning until 5 p.m. this afternoon. And this is for northwest winds at 15 to 25 knots, gust up to 35 knots, and seas averaging 3 to 5 feet. And just east of the New York Harbor out towards Montauk Point, we basically have a gale warning in effect until 1 a.m. on Friday. Winds and seas out of the northwest at 15 to 25 knots, gust up to 35 knots, seas averaging 4 to 6 feet. On the aviational weather deck for today, mostly VFR conditions expected through the period. A few scattered clouds at around 2,000 to 4,000 feet possible through this evening. Some locations, especially Allentown and Reading, could see occasional broken decks at this level, resulting in brief periods of MVFR ceilings. And there remains a small chance of rain showers around Allentown through this afternoon, but even with the rain shower, visibilities are not expected to go below 6 nautical miles. Winds will stay mostly from the west-northwest through the period. Wind speeds will increase quickly after the sunrise this morning. Gust up to 25 knots possible at all sites, with gust up to 30 knots around Atlantic City. Wind should diminish quickly after sunset tonight, both due to the nocturnal decoupling and the pressure gradient decreasing as the low moves further away from the region. Friday through Sunday, mainly VFR conditions expected. Northwest winds at 5 to 10 knots, becoming west to southwest on Sunday. Monday, mainly VFR conditions expected. North to northwest winds early, then becoming north to northeast throughout the day. Wind speeds around 5 to 10 knots. Right now, it's looking good out there in Newark. 47 degrees, dew point 35, humidity 63%. The wind is out of the northwest at 14, already howling in with gusts up to 21, visibilities at better than 10 miles, a few clouds at 3,000, 6,000, and 10,000 VFR conditions in place. Philadelphia this morning, 48 degrees, dew point 33, humidity 56%. The wind is west at 18, already gusting up to 29. Hold on to your hats out there. Visibility is 10 miles, broken clouds at 10,000 and 20,000 VFR conditions in place. Beautiful weekend on the way with some tranquil weather conditions once we get rid of the low pressure here in the Gulf of Maine, and some downwind northwesterly winds trajectory from all the Great Lakes, bringing some rain and snow showers across the region just to our west. Just some cumulus clouds and stratocumulus clouds across the region early today before the winds and everything decoupled, and high pressure clear skies for the weekend. Should be a nice day on Friday. Lighter winds, northwesterly flow, and lots of sunshine around. And near seasonable temperatures too, as the high orientation is from the Pacific rather than from the Arctic region. And by the time we get in through the weekend, it's going to look good with lots of sunshine and near normal temperatures for this time of the year. The extended forecast progs for Sunday looking nice, with high pressure and control of our weather here in the eastern United States. And then an upper closed low here across the Central Plains begins to move towards the Mississippi and Tennessee River Valley. And some of the model guidance, including some of the ensemble packages here, is suggesting that this makes a jump to the coast and creates a coastal storm early on Tuesday and Wednesday off the southern mid-Atlantic coast states. The latest progs continue to make this and play it out mostly east of the forecast region with little influence on the coast, and this would be for the Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning time frame, keeping this storm system deflected out to sea. That's the latest on the progs here as the storm remains out to sea, and a very little, if any, impact on the eastern United States, with more high pressure building in across the forecast region for the mid to the late part of next week. This is our polar vortex this morning at the 10 millibar level in the stratosphere over western Greenland. And that means that all the heights and the strongest of the cold air in this complex, the circumpolar vortex, is tightly packed up across Greenland, and underneath it in the stratosphere, a westerly component to the air, split flow pattern in the lower levels of the atmosphere across the western United States, and a zonal to nearly above normal temperature regime across the eastern United States at the surface. This is up at 10 millibars right now. At the jet stream level, we can find our basically our split flow pattern here across the western United States, and a near zonal to basically above normal temperature regime active pattern across the eastern United States, but still there's a lack of cold air getting into the eastern United States, prolonging enough the fact that we have this active El Nino ongoing, and still the lack of cold air to build into the eastern United States. Current North American snowpack from this year right now up to December 1st. We can see plenty of snowpack here across these regions. We compare this with last year at the same time. Everything looks about similar. The only differences in the atmosphere this time around is that we have no blocking in the northern Atlantic or in the Arctic regions at this time, with the vortex located up here towards western Greenland at pretty much all levels up to 10 millibars. So it's keeping all of the cold air up in Canada at this time. Once again, I draw your attention to our active Pacific here in the polar branch, with an area of deep low pressure here south of the Aleutian Islands and Gulf of Alaska here, another storm system up towards the Aleutian Islands here. Here's our split flow pattern in the western United States, but located here, there's no blocking downstream across eastern, southeast of Greenland here. Our 50-50 low doesn't exist. We don't find any upper level blocking patterns here with ridging here. Just a very active flow pattern in both the polar and subtropical jet stream. So all the cold air that is available to be tapped into across Canada is being locked up. Latest run of the operational GFS this morning shows high pressure building into the forecast region. We can see that through the weekend. As we get into early next week, especially Monday night and Tuesday, it develops that storm with the trough located around the eastern United States, around the coastline here, and then develops a wave of low pressure on it and brings it close to the coast here, with moderate pockets of interior rain here across the Poconos, southeastern Virginia, the I-95 corridor just west of it into Pennsylvania. Then the rain shield just builds across the forecast region and then moves out. Now, the CMC model for the same time period is not showing the same thing at all. In fact, it deflects the entire storm system that was to be on the GFS model guidance further to the south and east and out to sea. European model guidance also continues to deflect this storm out to sea as well for early next week. So if this consensus continues, then we're not really going to see a coastal storm here along the mid-Atlantic coast states for Tuesday and Wednesday. And that forecast makes sense because there's really not a lot of blocking here in either the ensemble guidance from the GFS or the GEM model through the middle part of the month. There's a couple of dips here, but not significant because they still remain in the positive phase. Latest guidance from GFS Ensemble, the Canadian Ensemble, the Operational European, and the Ensemble European model guidance suggests the North Atlantic oscillation is slowly tilting down to a neutral category as we head into the middle part of the month. And finally, the PNA, the Pacific North American Ice Oscillation. Basically, it's in a positive state now with ridging across the west. It's expected to dip down to a neutral state, possibly even going negative for a while. And that would mean more of a trough in the eastern Pacific, eastern United States, western United States rather, and more of a ridge axis building into the eastern United States. And that shows up on a lot of the operational model guidance as well. We'll start out with the example of the European 500 millibar height anomalies. Here is our disturbance, our trough and storm system that is moving into Atlantic Canada. After that, normally we see this is the system in question here along the east coast for Tuesday and Wednesday, with a ridge building here over the weekend with heights rising across the eastern United States and Canada. And it's deflected, but it's still not very strong height anomaly drops here. So we're not looking at a potential for a big coastal storm here next week, and then a zonal flow sets up. By the end of the forecast period, we talked about the PNA breaking down in the west. That brings more of a trough in the western United States and more heights rising with the ridge access and warmer temperatures in the eastern United States through the middle part of December. This is European model guidance. Extrapolating out that on the GFS ensemble model guidance, 500 millibar height anomalies through the middle part of December, ridge in the east, trough in the west, and then a relaxation a little bit to the pattern with more of a zonal flow setting up through the middle part and the ending part of the month of December. And this means that, well, basically we're not looking at any widespread significant weather events here in the eastern United States if this guidance holds true. So I don't see a lot of cold air here in the eastern United States just yet, but don't worry, winter has not begun yet officially. Even though the meteorological winter started on December the 1st, we still have many months to go. For everything live, it's GardenStateWeather.com, GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. I'm forecaster Robert Smith. You make it a great Thursday.